on the Hawkeyes Sports Network from Learfield. Live from the Hyatt Regency, this is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. Brought to you by Authentic Brand. Elevate your everyday style with a premium label of choice. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. By your local Ford dealers. Hy-Vee. Score big savings with the new Hy-Vee Perks membership. Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Bank. Proud to support Iowa basketball. U.S. Bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by U.S. Cellular. Built for the Hawkeyes. Built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular. Built for us. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
A big week for Iowa basketball, both the men and the women. The Hawkeye men got a big home victory over Penn State almost a week ago, and then parlayed that into a huge road win at Northwestern University on Saturday. The Hawkeyes shot 63% in the second half and held off a hot Wildcat team of late, 87-80 at Welsh Ryan Arena in Evanston. A sold-out house. Many of the patrons were wearing black and gold, though, I don't mind telling you. And they saw the Hawkeyes win their fourth game in 5 starts and get back over 500 in the Big Ten at 10 victories and 9 defeats. With that, we welcome you into Hawk Talk with Coach Fran McCaffrey. Good evening, everybody. Gary Dolphin, along with former Hawkeye great, NBA world champion Bobby Hansen. We're at the Hyatt Regency in the Coralville, Iowa River Landing. And the Lisa Bluter Show has just concluded on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Everybody fired up about the Hawks, and Caitlin Clark headed to Minneapolis this weekend at the Target Center and hopefully repeat their Big Ten tournament championship. The Hawks will be at the worst, a 2 seed when postseason starts. As for the men, that heartbeat is a little bit louder after last week. Bobby Hansen, 2 big victories. The quad 1 wins are building. The resume isn't complete yet, but boy, I like where this team's headed.
Put themselves in a great spot, Gary, no doubt about it, and have just played really well too, playing some of their best basketball right now. The triple-double by Peyton Sanford, first one of the year for the Big Ten of the men, and first one all time in men's basketball history here at the University of Iowa. So congratulations to Peyton and the way he is playing. And on top of that, the game at Northwestern, you went into a tough arena there. They've got a really upgraded facility there. Welsh Ryan, Chris Collins has got his team playing awfully well. Boo Buie, one of the toughest guards that we have in the Big Ten, if not the country, and they put it together. Put it together in play after play. They would not go away. It got tied. It'd go ahead. Northwestern would go ahead. Each team would go on a little bit of run, but once the Hawks got ahead, Gary, they pretty much were ahead to stay. So some big shots made. Patrick McCaffrey, I'm thinking of his big three-pointer from the corner off Tony Perkins' feed. You had Peyton with an and one left-hand dribble drive down in there when it was getting tight. So, and then the defensive effort at the end, the steal. Ben Crickey goes in for the dunk for the final margin, 87-80. So another quad 1 victory, and by my count, that's 4.
And I think we've got combined 1 and 2 quads, 8 or 9 wins.
Sounds right.
If I read that right this morning. But, it's a moving target, Bobby. It changes every day because Big Ten games are being played 7 days out of the week. And right now here the Hawks are firmly supplanted in 6th place. Most years the Big Ten gets 7, 8, 9 teams into the postseason NCAA tournament. That's not going to happen this year, but the Hawks, you follow that net and Ken Palm closer than I do. Where do they stand right now?
I think what I saw, they were 58. Maybe Corey can help us out there. He follows that, Mr. Tech over there. But I think the Hawks, with the victory at Northwestern, jumped up inside the top 60. So that, I think, would be number 6 in the Big Ten. If I'm not mistaken, maybe number 7 in there. I know Ohio State right behind them. I did look at that real quick today. Had a busy day of looking at that. But we've got a lot of basketball left to be played.
Oh, yeah.
Gary, coming. So they're 57, it looks like. Yeah,
57.
That's pretty good.
Typically, they're 18-12, 10-9 in the Big Ten. And usually, if you finish 500 or better in the Big Ten, you're going to the postseason dance. That's not the case this year because there's so many good teams from a lot of different conferences. But the general thought is, if the Hawks can reach the mid to late 40s on the net, they would be in the NCAA tournament. Well, they can take a giant step forward on Sunday night against Illinois. Huge
game coming. I think it's the final Big Ten game of the regular season for the entire conference. 6 o'clock start, 6 o'clock tip. Senior Sunday it is. We'll say goodbye to some great seniors and managers and the players, and let Fran fill us in on those that we are going to honor. But again, congratulations to these team for putting themselves in that position, Gary. I go back to the start of the Big Ten season. You had a couple of tough losses in there, 0-3 to start it, but really have got themselves back together. And Josh Dix is a big reason for that. I mean, reading up on him a little bit more today, and what that young man's been doing recently is all Big Ten material.
24 points Saturday, Bobby. He hit 9 of 13 shots, multiple threes. I think he and Peyton each had 4. 3 assists, solid defensively. Fran loves to rave about his defense, and I can see why when you look at a replay or watch the game on tape. I mean, plus, in my view, he gives the Hawks that third consistent scorer with Sanford and Perkins. And when you, as a defense, have to cover, better than anybody, you have to cover 3 threats, not 1, not 2, but 3. Ben Krikke and Owen Freeman, Patrick McCaffrey, that opens up, and they're not, Freeman isn't being doubled. Kricke's had his ups and downs this year, but he's on a roll right now because of the way Josh Dix is playing.
Yeah, he's hitting that mid-range shot, and at Northwestern, 4 out of 5 from deep. I mean, he has really expanded his game. And back to your point, Gary, of the defense that Josh plays, he's always picking up the best offensive player on the other team. In this case, it was Boo Buie, who, as I said, is one of the toughest guards. And Josh's size, 6'5", 6'6". You're trying to move your feet and keep up with a guy that's 6'2" and cat quick, and you got to funnel him to the sideline. Know where your help is coming from, and he's got that step back, fall away jumper. And I thought he did a really good job on Boo. Boo ended up, with 27 points, but he made him work. And I played for the late great Jerry Sloan, who said, you know what, these guys are so talented, they're going to make baskets on you, but if you make them work, you just work. And maybe at the end of the game, when that final shot comes down, maybe you've tired them out a little bit.
Bobby, we've watched the transformation of this team as Dix plays more minutes, as Owen Freeman. Obviously, he's had a lot of foul issues this year, but if he can stay on the floor, I mean, what did he have? 9 points, 6 rebounds, or 8 points, 7 rebounds the other night in 20 minutes. Played half the game.
4 out of 5 from the floor, and had a big play at the end of the game, too, when he came back in there and dunked, roll into the basket. That high screen roll has become a real valuable play in the Hawkeye playbook in their arsenal, and got good hands. He's bouncy. He's quick off his feet. Good defender. He can block shots in there, and I love the way he rebounds in traffic.
And Krikke has rediscovered that mid-range jump shot of his, and it's great to see Ben, who's been a Big Ten Player of the Week, regain that old form that we saw in November and December. The Hawkeyes fighting to get into the NCAA tournament. Lots of work yet to do, but they have the 4 quad 1 victories, and I just found it 9 quad 1 or 2 wins, and 4 true road triumphs. Yeah. I mean, that isn't lost on the NCAA selection committee.
No, not at all, Gary. It used to be a big part of the criteria. I'm not sure what they look at now, but anytime you go on the road in the Big Ten and you can scrape away a victory, I look back at some of the road victories we've had at Michigan State recently, 78-71. I mean, at Illinois, you had your shot at them right there. You could have got that one at, at Penn State. You could have had that one. You won at Michigan. You could have won at Indiana. So, yeah, these guys go out there. We won at Minnesota. So, as you mentioned, those 4 road victories are huge on that resume.
Bobby, we've got the Big Ten men's and women's player of the week. Peyton Sanford announced today as the Big Ten player of the week. Also selected as Dick Vitale's national player of the week. Dick knows a little bit something about talent. The Hawkeyes junior averaged 24.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 8 assists, and a couple blocks in leading the Hawks to victories over the Nittany Lions and the Wildcats. Shot 40% from the field, 96% from the free throw line in those two games. He's got 21 straight made free throws.
Yeah, he's automatic when he gets to the free throw line. That's what makes Iowa so tough down the stretch, Gary. If you get a lead on them, they're tough to catch inside that minute because you're going to foul the Hawks. The Hawks are going to step up there. They're going to make their free throws. And between Caitlin and Peyton, Gary, those two young players are from Hawkeyes. So when's the last time you had a Big Ten players of the week from one small town? From the same city.
Yeah, we don't want to slight Dowling Catholic, your alma mater, but I did not. Caitlin she grew up in Hawkeyes.
Pretty sure she did.
Well, I'm not doubting it. That's the first I've heard that.
Yeah, her mother's a Nizzy. Her father, Bob, was my football coach freshman year and freshman counselor. Saw him in the attendance. Good to see Mr. Nizzy. He's a great guy, and talked to Caitlin briefly about it when she was here one time. But it's just a remarkable story, and to see where they came from, and
for sure,
and to grow into the people and the players that they are.
And Price is just starting to form his.
Taking it all in, looking at Price.
Everybody will be wondering if they bottle water in Hawkeyes. How do I get Hawkeyes
It'll grow
water?
even more. Yeah, that growing town of Hawkeyes out west.
Good note to take our first break on tonight. Bobby Hansen and yours truly, Gary Dolphin. Thanks for joining us here on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey. We're brought to you live from the Hyatt Regency. Experience the all-new Hyatt Regency Coralville and its freshly renovated spaces. Stay in new modern guest rooms overlooking the river, the Iowa River, or check out the state-of-the-art fitness center, pool, and family lounge, and their new cafe serving Starbucks coffee. Come discover all these updates and more on your next Iowa City trip to cheer on the Hawkeyes. Tonight's Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey is also sponsored by Bud Light. Bud Light, proud sponsor of Iowa Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. We'd love to have you join the conversation. You can reach us on Twitter at Gary Dolphin. That's on Twitter at Gary Dolphin, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. Coach McCaffrey will be joining us a little bit later on. When we come back, Evan Brauns will join us. The transfer from Belmont University. Evan and Ben Cricky have been vital parts of the Hawkeye attack this year out of the transfer portal. Evan, likable young guy, a very engaging young guy, and he makes the most of his minutes when he gets in there. And he'll join us next year on Hawk Talk from Learfield.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through! Yeah.
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
Bananas are only 39 cents a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And 39 cents a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop and count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for bananas every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn, and we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/corngrowsiowa.
Hi, it's your friend, social media. You know where I showcase the cool life of sports stars and friends. But don't fall for the editing and good lighting, because we all have struggles and challenges, like with alcohol or drug use, gambling, or our mental health. You know, talking about it is a sign of strength. Maybe you don't know who to talk to? Your Life Iowa can give you resources or treatment options. Get free 24/7 confidential support. Call, text, or chat online at yourlifeiowa.org. A message from Iowa HHS.
We're at the Hyatt Regency. Welcome back, everybody. Both here in the Hyatt and along the Hawkeye Radio Network, 55 stations strong. Appreciate your attendance tonight for Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey. Fran will be joining us in just a few minutes. I'm Gary Dolphin. Bobby Hansen is with us, former Hawkeye great and NBA world champion. And sitting between us is Evan Brauns. How about a hand for Evan Brauns? Iowa City West Trojan in his high school days, and enjoyed a solid career at Belmont University before coming back home in the offseason. He and Ben Cricky have been two nice pickups out of the transfer portal. And how are you enjoying Johnson County relived?
Yeah, I love it. Obviously, I know the area, but it's been really fun to come back and experience it all over again.
You and Patrick McCaffrey are good buddies, but were really close in high school as well, right? At Iowa City West, where you won a lot of games.
Yeah, we were really close, and it's been nice to come back, be roommates, and get to continue that.
What was the conversation like? Now, we've gotten to know Ben Cricky. He's played a lot this year. How did the transfer portal, you jumped in there out of Belmont, solid basketball program, great tradition at Belmont University, and I know you enjoyed your time there. So talk about your time at Belmont in the portal, and then how the contact occurred with the coaching staff, Fran most notably, and you.
Yeah, well, towards the end of last season and after the season was over, I just reevaluated things with my family, and it was a good 3 years, but it was far, and I really wanted to experience my last 2 years closer to home. And so I kind of talked to some people in my circle and try to figure out where options would be, and we decided to enter the portal. And me and Patrick talked when I was in the portal, and we got some stuff going, and then talking with some coaches, and then eventually when Coach talked to me, it was a no-brainer once the relationship was established there.
Well, it makes sense, because if the Hawks have been deficient isn't the right word, but they've been lacking size in the post for a couple of years. Luka Garza, who could play the post, but he's more effective on the wing. Yeah. So you obviously realize that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, you got to leverage yourself to a certain extent and use your talents and abilities and see where they fit best. And, it all just kind of made sense.
I love the way you play on the scout team and in practice and on game day at the shoot-around. You're knocking bodies all over the place, and that makes us a better team, and you understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to, understand your role to a certain extent, and there's parts and pieces to every team, and I think that, I try to maximize my time wherever it is, and I'm just happy to help us get better.
Yeah, I got to commend you, Evan. It's not easy when you don't play. I've been in that situation, but you have to approach it like you're going to play at any moment. And Coach will tap you on, and you hop right up there, and you get in there, and usually something positive happens. So just talk about mentally keeping yourself ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you get older and as you're in different situations in your career, I think you just have to understand where the coaches are at with stuff like this too. And everyone's trying to win games, and that's the bottom line to a certain extent. And so I understand that, and the people close to me understand that, and I appreciate the role that I'm in right now, and I think that with Owen playing as well as he is, and Ben coming in, and I think that is the reality you look at, and then I find ways where can I shine in my role. So if it's in practice, I'm gonna go up to maybe assistants on scout. I'm gonna say, I want to be in this role in this scout team, and I'm gonna bust my butt and do everything I can to help my teammates get better. And I think that you have to find some joy in it too, because it's fun to be here. It's fun to be around, the fans and the teammates and the coaches and stuff. And so I think that, you got to count your blessings too, because there's a lot of kids and people that would love to be in my position right now.
Absolutely.
They're going to the Iowa games. They'd love to be a Hawk, and then here I am. And so, I think that you got to find joy in those parts too. So it gets hard though, to the same extent. Everyone wants to play,
Sure.
Nobody.
You got to be ready.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You are.
And, some games, coach will talk to me in practice, be like, hey, you know what? I think that this would be a good matchup for us, and be ready to go. And I am, and,
Have you always been a high jumper?
I have.
You get them legs. You got some springs in those legs.
Yeah, I for whatever reason, been blessed with that, and I try to leverage that too, and it's easy to notice, but yeah.
I'm a master of the obvious. Yeah, I can say that kid can jump. So where does your basketball career going to take you? Where's it going to take Evan Brauns?
Yeah, I think where I'm at right now, it's going to take me obviously to finish the season, and then I'll enjoy a 5th year here. And then, in terms of when my 5th year is over, I would be happy to explore a playing career if that's, where a good opportunity arises. Or, I'd love to see the opposite side of it and, start maybe a coaching career. I've been talking to my parents about exploring like a graduate assistant position somewhere, or, just try to explore different sides of basketball, because, it really isn't anything like college basketball.
Yeah.
College basketball is just the best. And so, I'd love to stay.
Especially this time of year, right?
Oh, my gosh.
So you guys got to fight to get in that NCAA tournament, right? What's the feeling of the team right now?
Man, we're feeling good. And guys are really excited to be in the position we're in. And I think a common theme on the team is we hold our future in our own hands. We've put ourselves in the position where we've won, for these last 5 big games. And, when we're talking amongst ourselves, every time we've been like, we must win this game, and we do. And so, I think that kind of gives you some momentum going in. And obviously, you play a big game on senior night and home, and you're feeling good and you're feeling confident. And so I think guys we're really proud of each other, the way that we've kind of, gone through the ups and downs, and I think it's been really good for us.
I've been covering this game for 52 years, and I'll be the first to admit that the three-point shot, and Bobby and I have talked about this a lot, has really changed the game as we know it.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because the frustration of having an 8 or 10-point lead in the second half with 6 minutes to go and not being able to hang on to it. That's the three-point shot. That's you got to play it till the zeros show on the clock. And so I think it's fantastic what we're seeing now. Penn State last week at Northwestern on the road, tough place to play.
Yeah.
How you're playing with the lead. So what has changed in the last 10 days to 2 weeks?
Yeah. Not to say that, I'm going to say this, but not to say that we never understood what's going on outside of, the game. But I think guys really are backs kind of against the wall to a certain extent when it comes to wanting to get in that large berth to the NCAA. And I think that also we needed as a team to kind of go through some of those experiences where, all right, you have a 6-point lead with 5 minutes left. How are we going to manage this clock? How are we going to manage this lead? And so, I think we've been disappointed as teammates, just the way we've handled some of those situations. And so I think it was kind of like a look in the mirror type situation where it's like we need to figure out why this is happening to us and how we're going to prevent this from happening. And I think different guys stepping up in different situations has been really awesome to see. For me as a teammate, with Josh has really stepped up this last couple games, and that's helped us significantly down the stretch because, we've been kind of relying on him to hit some of those tough shots, end of shot clock shots, or those are when you really separate yourself towards the end of the game. So yeah.
Hey, great point, because people forget 4 freshmen. They're not freshmen anymore. 2 transfers. You're trying to figure out new teammates.
Absolutely.
Josh Dix breaks his leg his senior year in high school. It took him a year just to get back.
Right.
And now look at him.
Oh my gosh.
Who's better in the Big Ten right now than Josh Dix?
Absolutely.
He's on a level. Yeah. And so those are great points, one and all. So keep it going.
Talk about playing against Owen Freeman and the progress that young freshman has made.
It's got to be fun.
6 months. Yeah.
I mean, you kind of go back and forth with it as a competitor. It's like, wow, this guy's a freshman. He's kind of kicked my butt at certain times, so like, it kind of hits you in the pride a little bit too, as a player. But it's also as his teammate and his friend, it's like, this is just an outstanding thing to watch, and what I'm always so happy for him is because he's just like one of the greatest, guys I've been around. He's a great competitor, but he's just a fantastic teammate. He's a great friend of mine, and so those are the kind of guys that's just so easy to cheer for him. Like you see him at the start of the year, coming off the bench and then now starting and then now dropping 20 on some of these teams, and it's like, man, it's really fun to see that for someone who deserves it, and not always do people who deserve it, get to see the recognition, and so that's why it's been really fun for me. But then, like I said earlier, like as a competitor in practice, it's like, oh man, this kind of sucks. But
he's got good footwork, though.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Get around to that quick spin move Fran called the James Worthy move, where he spins on that baseline side.
He's got that patented, doesn't he? Man, oh man. We're talking with Evan Brauns, of course, on the Iowa Hawkeyes roster, transferred in from Belmont. And I love to listen to you talk because regardless of how many minutes you play, you want winners on that roster, and Evan Brauns is all that. I live in the Mississippi Valley Conference footprint. I've known Steve Bergman for a lot of years up around Dubuque, and typically when Iowa City West would come to town, I don't want to date myself, but I remember the Iowa City West team with Steve Waite, Rock Rawlings,
77.
Oh my God, was that a heck of a basketball team. And look at Evan Brauns, Cedar Rapids Gazette, Des Moines Register, All-Area, All-State by the Sports Writers, team captain. You guys went 22-3. Was that your senior year?
It's my senior year.
That was your senior year. So we have another winner in Evan Brauns, and that's why the Hawkeyes are playing as well as they are right now. So the minutes you don't get on the floor when the scoreboard's lit up, you get in practice, and absolutely. Coach McCaffrey will tell you that's equally important as game night.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've talked about it too as a staff and to the players, and it's like, these are my opportunities. Like these are we call them like mini games. I can come in here and practice, and I'm going to treat it like a game for myself, so that I'm ready. Then maybe I'm not getting the minutes all the time in the games, but I'm going to compete my butt off, and I'm going to treat this like I am playing a game, so I can stay ready too.
Tell us about your family. I always like to ask the guys. Tell us about your brother and sister and mom and dad and your grandma, I heard.
I was going to give Ann a plug here in a minute, but tell us about your family. Tell us about your family.
Absolutely. Well, I have two wonderful parents, Mary and Randy, who my dad actually recently retired. He was an airline pilot.
Oh, wow.
Served in the Air Force for 10 years.
Thank you for your service.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you, Dad. So he's a captain for Delta, and that's been really cool for me growing up. He'd be gone fairly often, but it was cool. Your dad's a pilot. It's awesome. Play with some planes. But and then my mom was a physical therapist at a nursing home for a number of years, and she kind of went away from that as we got older. She's been around a lot in my career with my dad being gone flying, and she kind of took the reins. And, a lot of times the AAU tournaments, the dads would go in, but, my mom would come, and it was great. And so she's kind of team mom, too, because not many moms would go, and so it was kind of fun. And then I have an older brother, Christian, who is going to graduate in the spring with a master's in library science from the university.
Wow.
He's looking to be a librarian. And I have a younger brother, Reese, who is recently 20 years old, and he is a sophomore here at Iowa.
Sophomore.
Yep.
The 3 Hawkeyes.
Absolutely.
That's
Hawkeyes.
Great.
Yeah. That's good. You got to keep in the family.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
And then add in Grandma Ann Glesney up in Decorah.
Oh, my gosh.
One of my favorite towns. It's not quite Minnesota, but it's thank God it's a little south of the border.
Absolutely.
Huh? Absolutely. Hi, Ann, up in Decorah, and our Hawkeye affiliate up there, 100.5 FM, KDHK. Used to go up there a lot for the North Iowa I Club. I can't remember the name of that old supper club just north of town, but it's Lawrence Welk used to play there. He'd bring the orchestra down from North Dakota, so I got fond memories of Decorah, old Highway 52 that winds up that way. It's a great part of the most beautiful part of the state in Decorah. Great Hawkeye country up there. What are you majoring in? What do you want to be when you grow up?
I'm
other than an NBA player.
Well, absolutely, right. But I'm getting my business degree, and then I kind of mentioned earlier, if I pursue a professional career, that'd be great. But I really would like to be a coach at some level.
Terrific.
Not even college necessarily, but I would even explore high school or professional. Whatever avenue it takes me. But I'm not really picky.
Think big. Think big.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you coming out tonight. We've had, I think, all the players on the team out here one Monday or Tuesday night before the season ends, and what is it they say, the best for last?
Yeah, there you go.
Articulate young guy.
There we go.
Great job,
fun
Evan.
traveling with you and watching you work out and practice, and more minutes coming. I love the way you throw your weight around.
Great attitude, too.
Pick up a couple fouls. We've needed you.
Yeah, well,
that's
what I'm here for. Yeah.
That's right. Good to see you, bud.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in, Evan.
Awesome.
And,
Thank you much.
Good luck on Sunday. Let's get the return match with the Illini. Right?
Absolutely.
Evan Brauns, Hawkeye center. 6'9", 6'10", 6'9"?
6'9", yeah.
6'9", and you look like you lost some weight this year.
I have, you got to try to look good, feel good. So
Well, Coach appreciates that. Give you a little more quickness.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Evan. Thanks, bud, for stopping by.
Absolutely.
Evan Brauns, we're going to come back with Coach McCaffrey in just a minute. If you'd like to load up the Twitter handle, please do so at Gary Dolphin, on Twitter at Gary Dolphin, or on Facebook.com/voice of the Hawkeyes, Voice of the Hawks, Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. We're at the Hyatt Regency. What a beautifully remodeled facility the Hyatt is. And you're welcome to stop out and try some of the new menu items that will be featured at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar here in a couple weeks. How about the Iowa corn cake? Sweet corn fritter, rock shrimp, and Cajun sauce for just $12. They'll have a smoked sturgeon dip, cheese curds, artisan board, brisket sliders, baked onion soup, and of course my favorite, the bacon corn chowder. That's toasted barley and pepper bacon. All the usual assortment of salads, including the wedge, the Caesar, chopped, and burrata. And, of course, the sandwiches, the Watermill Smash Burger, buttermilk fried chicken, grilled 3 cheese, and the turkey Reuben, along with barbecue brisket. Just some of the fare you can expect at the new Watermill Kitchen and Bar here at the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing in Coralville. All right, we'll step out, take a break, come back. Coach McCaffrey joins us next on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey in Learfield.
They're only 39 cents a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And 39 cents a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for bananas every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 57 years. Oak Knoll is located near University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We're a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through! Yeah.
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. While farmers work hard to grow the best crop, their Iowa corn checkoff investments are hard at work too. Opening local and global markets for corn and corn-fed products, educating drivers on unleaded 88 as the best fuel at the pump, finding new uses for corn, and sharing the farmer's story. Iowa corn farmers are backed by researchers, educators, market experts, and more. To keep corn growing Iowa.
Hey Iowans, Luka Garza here. For me to get to the NBA, I've worked on my speed, precision, and my shot. For you to get to the NBA, all you need is the Iowa Lottery. First, play bonus multiplier scratch tickets and you could win up to $100,000. Then, enter non-winning tickets for your chance to win a VIP suite experience with the Minnesota Timberwolves, including food, hotel, and $1,000 cash. Plus, center court seats to see the Iowa Wolves. Enter today and see rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
Always great to hear Luka Garza on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Polishing that voice up. Welcome back to the Hyatt Regency, the all-new Hyatt Regency Coralville. It's freshly renovated spaces. Stay in the new modern guest rooms overlooking the river, or check out the state-of-the-art fitness center, the pool and the family lounge, and the new cafe serving Starbucks coffee. Come discover all these updates and more on your next Iowa City trip to cheer on the Hawks. And Coach McCaffrey will endorse the cheese curds with ranch dressing.
So will you, apparently. You jumped in on mine.
Help yourself.
I should have asked. But I'm working 2 shows tonight. I'm
overtime.
My stomach's growling. Yeah,
gotta feed him.
Thanks, Coach. 2 solid victories, one at home, Penn State. Very impressive play at Northwestern. In retrospect, you've had a couple days to digest the Northwestern game, but one thing I love is this team, and Evan brought it up a minute ago, 4 freshmen who aren't freshmen anymore, a couple transfers. It's all about learning as the season goes on, not just in practice, and learning to play with a lead just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Those guys got some playing time early, and there was sometimes when they didn't get as much, sometimes they got more. But the important thing is every time we called on them, they're ready. Sometimes, like I said, it's extended minutes, but they're always productive. They're not mistake guys. They play defense. They're essentially winning character guys, and that gives you the depth that you need in this league. You're right. Penn State plays a certain style. They're going to press you all over the place, run 2 guys at the ball in the backcourt, mix in a diamond press. Really athletic, switch a lot. Same with Northwestern. They play slower, but they switch everything, so you've got to react to that. So each game plan is different. And obviously road wins are harder to come by in this league, especially now because they've got a really good team. And the fans have responded to that team, the job that Chris has done. So the place is packed.
For sure.
We used to go down there, and you heard more "Let's go Hawks" than you heard anything from them. And that's just the way it was. I mean, the place was black and gold. Now we still had some
very nice
folks
turnout.
there. A great turnout. But the way that they jumped us early, and we withstood that, and then we got a lead. They came back. Boo Boo is playing at a completely different level. Playing like an NBA player.
Big time.
He was always a great player. He was always a okay shooter. Well, now he's shooting close to 50% in league play from 3-point range. If you go under a ball screen on him, he automatically pulls from 26 feet. And he was 6 for 7. So he's carrying that team right now, because they've had some injuries.
Yes.
And I think, Matt Nicholson, their really talented center, he got hurt at the very end of our game. I think he broke his foot. So,
oh boy, I
feel bad for him, as he's a guy that really didn't contribute much as a freshman, and at this point, he's one of the better centers in our league, and has made a big impact on why they've won 20 games.
I mean, you go down the list. He didn't play a lot of guys, but I'm looking at the minutes played. Martinelli has come out of nowhere, played 40 minutes, and Barnheiser 40 minutes. Those are guys that made winning plays in the games I watched leading up to the Iowa game.
Well, Barnheiser is one of the best players in our league, and that started coming into play at the end of last year. He started becoming sort of that next scorer that, like, Boo needed some help, and then they added the kid Langborg, who didn't play Saturday, but they'll get him back at least. Ty Berry had really come into his own, and he hurt his knee. So that's where Martinelli was playing well, playing a lot, but not, like you said, not 39, 40 minutes. So they go on the road, and they beat Maryland. He gets 27, in the absence of Langborg, who had sprained his ankle and missed. So he missed the Maryland game, he missed our game. And hopefully for them, he'll be back this week. moving forward.
And of course, Ty Berry tore meniscus, but that's where Martinelli has really come on as well.
Yeah, he has been. So they still have 3 scorers.
They do.
Martinelli, Barnheiser, and Bowie.
Coach, I got to tell you, you always know Boo's going to get his points. And I was stunned when I looked at, he got 27 on Saturday, 9 of 13 shooting from the field, but 6 of 7 from 3. And I went back and looked at that game, and Josh Dix was in his nose at every turn. And my point is how well Josh is playing at the defensive end of the floor. Great scorers are going to find a way to get the ball in the basket, but it's just remarkable that he got 27 off Josh Dix.
Well, the thing about that is you really don't get 27 off anybody the way they play. It's constant handoff, ball screen, handoff, ball screen. So it's going to be a function of, like you said, Josh chasing him around, but our bigs have to be up. The last one he hit, Owen got screened off, and he pulled. He needed to be up and have a greater sense of urgency on that play. But everything they do runs through Boo Buie.
For sure.
He has the ball. So he has the ability to shoot the ball anytime he wants. But as you know, he's a willing passer, a really good playmaker. And that's why Chris trusts him the way he does. But they pretty much call a set every time down. And it usually involves him. So those guys are really hard to guard. What makes Josh's performance so special is he's chasing around their best player. And he's also getting 25 or whatever he got. So
24, yeah.
Which is really hard to do.
It really is. Peyton Sanford, Big Ten Player of the Week. Congratulations to Peyton. What a week he had Saturday. In clutch moments, he hit big shots, especially at the start. Northwestern got out to the quick lead, and Peyton hit 2 back-to-back threes. That
was big right at the start of the game.
No doubt.
No question.
No doubt. But talk about his development as a junior. He's a salty veteran, but he's playing as good a basketball as he has since he stepped on campus.
Well, and what's impressive about it is the way they're guarding him. He's going to make open shots. So what do you think the other team's trying to do? Make sure he's not open.
Getting his face.
They're mugging him, beating him up. And, he's a big, strong kid, so he's physical, and he moves without the ball. And our guys get it. We have to screen for him. And we have to find him. We have to hit him when he's ready to shoot it, and not a second or two too late, or look him off and go off. And we got to get him the ball.
For sure.
And he'll make big shots for us. And the great thing about him, he can miss 3 and come back and make 2 huge shots for us. So I just want him to be aggressive. Probably the most impressive play of the game was when he went coast to coast. We were up 6, and he got that rebound, and we wanted to push the pace. We wanted quick up.
Yeah.
Because they want to walk it up. If they're going to play the bulk of their guys 39 minutes, we want to go fast. We want to see if you can keep up with us.
Wear him out.
He went coast to coast and laid the ball in to put us up 8, and I think that basket and Patrick's 3, I think, were the 2 biggest ones at the game.
I agree.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that 3 from Patrick, and then dovetailed into Tony Perkins, 14 assists.
Well, Tony made a great play.
Yeah, he found him out there.
Because Tony essentially, Bobby, did what Peyton did. He went coast to coast, and he drew all 4 defenders. And Patrick's sitting there in the corner, spotted up, and he put the pass. As you know, you were a shooter. You want that pass right on the money. You don't want it at your ankles or your knee or your shoulder. He put it right on the money, and Patrick let it go without hesitation, and that was the dagger.
That was the dagger there, and I loved his reaction, and he had a smile from ear to ear knocking that shot down. But also, Fran, I thought one of the keys was to attack, and as you mentioned, get the tempo going in your favor. Looking down here at fast break points, 25-9 in favor of the Hawks. That was big.
Well, you're not beating them unless you do that, in my opinion. Like if you want a slugfest half-court battle, they're typically better at that than the teams they play, because they have Boo and they have Barnheiser. They have guys. You look at Nicholson. He usually goes 6 for 7 because he just screens, rolls, and dunks. And their spacing is so good. Their screening, and so the key for us was get stops and run their bigs, run their wings, tire them out, and then maybe coming down the stretch. And they did. They were missing some shots.
And what we talked about after the game, Fran, your switch to zone later in the half, the second half, and I thought kind of made them think a little bit, slowed them down, if you will. And
it made them play even slower. And as you know, you don't have to guard all that action.
Yeah.
Now, it's not that they don't run stuff against the zone, but
they were looking.
What can you run? You're going to run 1-3-1. You're going to run what we call two-ball action, which is ball screen, duck in, overload. You know, there's only so many things you can do against zone, and if you have a savvy defensive team, you can see it coming and you can match to it. Especially if you target, okay, where's Bowie? You know, where's Barnheiser? You know, if a team's got 5 shooters, a little harder with certain teams, but you know, you point, okay, there's Terrence Shannon, you know, there's you know, some of the great shooters. Where's Young? I mean, you could go right through the league and you know, make sure you're guarding those guys. And if you have a lead coming down a stretch, it just takes them longer to score. And what we like to run out of the zone. You know, for 40 years, that's what Syracuse did. Jim Boeheim sat in a 2-3 zone, and they just boom, they took off down the floor. They got you to miss. They contested with their length, and they were flying down the floor. And that's what we try to do.
Coach, one play that I keep marveling over, and to your point about pushing tempo, push it on a team that isn't real deep. Peyton's baseline, the back cut, Josh, I think, hit him with the bounce pass when there was just a sliver of daylight on the baseline. I think it was Hunger who was in the game at the time for Nicholson, and he was so surprised that Peyton got by him, gave him just enough room, laid it up and in, which kept the lead, I think, at 3 possessions. That was a big play late.
Big play in the game. You know, when you're playing a team that's physical defensively like they are, and they switch. So if a team is switching, they're switching up. They're switching up into your space. So if you keep coming up, you're going exactly where they want you to go. You have to go back door. You have to cut. You have to curl cut, back cut, screen, and slip, because they're pointing as to who you take him, I take. Well, you have to confuse them. If all you do is interchange or set a simple ball screen, those are simple switches. So our guys understand, you know, not only do you have to do what we just said in terms of back cut and curl cut, you've got to bring the ball to the action, because it doesn't do you any good to have Josh Dix open on a backdoor cut if you're 29 feet away from him and you can't make the pass. So you got to see it coming and make that penetration, and that's what our guys. And they also did it against Penn State, so they did it against both teams.
Yeah. They're doing it all year. Moving well.
You look at our assist turnover. What do we have? It was 20.
At one point, you had 22 assists on 23 made baskets.
Yeah,
I looked down.
That's hard to do.
It ended up 25 assists on 33 baskets.
Yeah. I mean, that's winning basketball. That helps you go on the road and win.
5 turnovers.
It
5-1.
Clarifies my point about Peyton. Gets talked a lot about his catch and shoot from 3, but his movement without the basketball has been
and if he doesn't
marvelous.
do that, he's going to have a really hard time because of the way they're mugging him.
For sure.
So if he doesn't keep moving and sustain that, he'll never be open. That's what they're trying to make sure that he's never open.
That's also why he has 21 straight made free throws.
Yeah.
Too. He's getting to the foul line. Yeah. Time for a break here on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey. We're going to come back in just a few minutes. We're brought to you tonight by Bud Light. Hawk Talk and Bud Light, great combination. Proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And by Wellmark. Attention Hawk fans who buy your own health insurance. Wellmark is on your side and on the health insurance marketplace. Let's give it up for plans you can afford. Check out wellmark.com/hoops to compare plans. Well, we've talked about Penn State. We've talked about the big victory over Northwestern. Here come the Fighting Illini for the rematch on Sunday night, the last game in the Big Ten of the regular season. And Carver will be packed. Many of you will be there. It's going to be a tremendous atmosphere on senior night for the guys. Sunday at 6. Pregame coverage with Bobby and I starts at 5 o'clock. We'll talk to Coach about that. We'll also go to Twitter and Facebook when we come back. They're loaded up on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. This is Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency with Coach McCaffrey and Learfield.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 57 years. Oak Knoll is located near University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We're a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Bananas are only 39 cents a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And 39 cents a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for bananas every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn, and we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/corn grows Iowa.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency here in the Iowa River Landing with Coach Fran McCaffery and former NBA champion Hawkeye great Bobby Hansen. I'm Gary Dolphin. Iowa, Illinois coming up on Sunday night for the Hawkeye regular season finale before the Big Ten tournament next week up in Minneapolis. Fran, it was a heck of a game down in Champaign a couple weeks back. The Illini were the better closer that night. 5 minutes, it was just under 5 minutes to go, tied at 75. And, you know, playing in that environment, the State Farm Center is never easy, but credit to Illinois. Boy, they got a lot of talent, starting with, Coleman Hawkins had the big day, but Terrence Shannon is omnipresent as well.
He's averaging, I think, 22 or 23, leading our league. They got a lot of weapons. You know, Domask Saturday had 31 at Wisconsin. Coleman Hawkins had 30 against us. Guerriere, you know, like these are old guys. They've been around. Guerriere, you know, we played against him when he was at Syracuse. When we had Garza and Ryan Kriener and Bohannon, and then he transferred to Oregon, and now he's at Illinois. Shannon, we played against him with that team when he was at Texas Tech, and now he's at Illinois. Domask is a grad transfer from Southern Illinois. But
it's an old team.
It's a really old team.
Done a great job.
Dane is really old, and he comes off the bench. He was a starter last year on a really good team.
260.
You know, and can score. Mm-hmm. And you know, if you try to tire him out, well, now he doesn't play enough to get tired. You know, he only plays half the game or less, but he's effective.
He is.
So they've got a lot of weapons. You know, you bring Goody off the bench, Harmon off the bench. Those guys are old. So they're a team that typically doesn't beat themselves. You know, so they had a great win this weekend. They play again this week, and then we play them obviously on Sunday.
And what I remember about that game was the Hawks were rolling, and Brad had seen enough and went to the old hockey line change. 5 new guys come in there, and Moretti, he stepped in there and made a couple threes during that point. Just, you know, talk about that point of the game, I guess, Fran, and how that.
We had an opportunity to extend the lead, but you know, that group he brought off the bench is, you know, that's also a veteran group, like I said. You know, you got Harmon, you got Dane Dania.
We haven't mentioned Ty Rogers yet.
Yeah, Ty Rodgers, one of my favorite players in the league. The way he plays,
guard,
6'6", junkyard dog who has game. Like, you know, a lot of junkyard dogs are just tough guys, and they're limited skill-wise. And he's not a great three-point shooter, but he's skilled, and he's a skilled basketball player. Very, very good player. So you got a lot of weapons on that team, and there's a lot of ways you can go. So you got to play good start to finish to beat that team.
Coach, we talked in the pregame show that day. One of the first lines out of your mouth was, we've got to rebound. Got to at least hold our own on the boards. And they got you over 40 minutes, but you've been rebounding the Hawks have been rebounding the basketball really well of late. Now, that'll be a key factor.
Well, that's a team that if you don't rebound, they're going to get broken play threes, kick out threes. They have too many good shooters, too many good players to give them extra chances. They're a hard team to guard, so now if you have to guard them 2 or 3 times in one possession, that's going to wear you down. And we want to be able to get stops and run. So if we get that first rebound, it certainly really increases your chances. Because think about it, a lot of times second shots are putbacks or kick out open threes. And the percentage of those shots going in is very high.
Coach, one of the guys that seems like always does something positive is Laji Dembele. And talk about his development over the years. But Laji, man, you need to rebound. You're looking at him. He gets in there. He'll get 3 or 4 right away.
And a phenomenal defender. A lot of times when you have young, big guys, they break down defensively. They don't see the action. They don't play ball screens correctly. They don't get over from the weak side. They don't see slips. He covers up. He's active. He stays in the stance. He's really strong. He's very physical. But really has tremendous defensive instincts. And he also can score. He'll raise up and shoot a 3, hit a little hook shot, a little pull-up jumper.
He doesn't hesitate.
Does not hesitate to shoot the ball. And that's one of the things that I saw about him in the recruiting process that we loved and we continue to encourage. Last thing you want to do is bring in a young big guy and he misses a pull-up jumper. You're like, stop it. Yeah, well, you move it. Then he'll never shoot again. Raj, that's a good shot. Keep shooting it. And he will. And that's what I love about him.
What I love about Tony Perkins is even on days when the ball isn't going in the net like he's used to, what was he, 4 for 14 on Saturday, 10 points, 14 assists, had a steal, a deflection, 4 rebounds. He sure makes up for it in other ways. And at the end of the day, his line is very Tony Perkins-like.
Yeah, I mean, that was an impressive performance. 14 assists, 2 turns. You're right. With some of the shots he normally made, those shots, you figure he's going to make at least 7 for 14 with those shots. He took maybe 8. But the bottom line is, when the shots aren't falling, you got to keep attacking and don't change your game. Don't force it and take bad shots. Find people and make plays, and that's what he's doing. That we win.
Brock Harding, he's going to be called on for more minutes here, and he certainly holds his own. The kid ain't afraid. Don't attack.
Coach, on that note, Mark on Twitter says, with Tony and Josh's ability to knock down shots in the lane, can you talk about the stress that puts on the opposing defense?
Well, what it does is it causes them to make decisions how they're going to play ball screens. There's a lot of teams like to play drop coverage. They might change. A lot of teams might want to switch. Well, now you got the big on a guy that can go off the dribble and hit a pull-up jumper. Our spacing is typically pretty good. So when those screens occur randomly, which is how we set them, we try not to be a predictable screening team. It's a random screening team. So that way you can turn the corner and shoot that pull-up. And they have to prepare for that. It's not like, okay, if he comes off the screen, he's going to go all the way to the rim, or he's going to kick it. He might kick it. He might go all the way to the rim. He might pull up. He might shot fake at the end of his move. He may do a hezzy and keep his dribble. And that's essentially how motion offense works. Eventually you break them down and you get them.
That's the Coach McCaffrey, unpredictable attack in the
motion offense.
Motion offense, indeed.
No set plays.
Nope. Thank you, Mark, for the question. We got to take a break on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey. When we come back at the top of the hour, we'll have a U.S. Bank scoreboard update and more of your questions and calls on Facebook and on Twitter. On Twitter at Gary Dolphin, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeyes. Iowa, Illinois, Sunday night, 6 o'clock tip-off at Carver. We'll look forward to seeing everybody out there. 5 o'clock for the pregame show. This is Hawk Talk, courtesy of Learfield and our friends at the Hyatt Regency.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Nestled on the rolling greens of the iconic Finkbine Golf Course, Bumps Restaurant is open to the public year-round. Whether you're swinging by after a round of golf or just in the neighborhood, Bumps is your go-to spot for scrumptious sandwiches, shareable appetizers, and mouth-watering pizzas. Quench your thirst with our selection of local craft beers. Or let our full bar serve you a refreshing cocktail to toast to your game. Or just because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Our happy hour from 2 to 6 p.m. is the perfect 19th hole. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to catch our latest daily specials. And here's a little insider secret just for our radio listeners. Thursdays are not to be missed at Bumps Restaurant. It's BOGO Happy Hour. Buy one, get one free on select beverages from our happy hour menu. Whether you're a diehard golfer or just love a great meal with a view, Bumps Restaurant at Finkbine Golf Course is your destination. We're currently open Wednesday through Saturday. Swing on by today. Bumps at Finkbine Golf Course. Great food, great drinks, and the best views in town. See you at Bumps.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn, and we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/fan of corn.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency, the Iowa River Landing in Coralville. I'm Gary Dolphin, and joined by Coach McCaffrey and Bobby Hansen. We'll get back to those two and your calls and your questions on Facebook and Twitter in just a minute. Let's give you our U.S. Bank scoreboard update for this Monday night. Typically not a whole lot going on, and that's the case this evening. One final just in. Nothing going on in the Big Ten, by the way. 9th-ranked Duke defeated North Carolina State this evening, 79-64. Duke the winner. The Dukies win at 79-64. And just underway, 11th-ranked Baylor is hosting Texas down in Waco. It's the Hawkeyes and the Fighting Illini Sunday night over at Carver Hawkeye Arena. 5 o'clock for the pregame show, 6 o'clock for the tip-off. And that will bring the Big Ten regular season to a close, and then we'll know the pairings for the Big Ten tournament coming up in Minneapolis the week after next. The Hawkeye women, of course, take on, they have the double bye. They'll play the winner of Wisconsin-Penn State Friday night at 5:30, and you can hear Rob Brooks and Tiffany Reedy at 5:15 for the pregame coverage here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Let's pause 10 seconds right now for station identification along the Iowa Hawkeye Radio Network. 10-second ID break. You're listening to Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey from the Hyatt Regency. WHO, 100 years young this year, 1924, WHO, and our flagship station in Cedar Rapids, WMT Cedar Rapids. Speaking of history, it was 95 years ago this day when Herbert Hoover became the 31st president of the United States. Hello out there, a short drive to West Branch, where that beautiful remodeling job at the Herbert Hoover Presidential Library and compound is undergoing transformation. Herbert Hoover, we think of Iowa's only president on this day, March the 4th, 1929. All right, back. That's our history lesson. Back with your questions and comments for Coach McCaffrey in just a minute on Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency in Learfield.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 57 years. Oak Knoll is located near University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We're a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. While farmers work hard to grow the best crop, their Iowa corn checkoff investments are hard at work too. Opening local and global markets for corn and corn-fed products, educating drivers on unleaded 88 as the best fuel at the pump, finding new uses for corn, and sharing the farmer's story. Iowa corn farmers are backed by researchers, educators, market experts, and more. To keep corn growing Iowa.
Bananas are only 39 cents a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And 39 cents a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for bananas every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spon & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spon & Rose visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spon & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spon & Rose, buy easier, build better.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
We're rocking and rolling through Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffrey. Thanks to Evan Brauns for showing up tonight and sharing some insight as to what the transition was from Belmont to the University of Iowa. Iowa City West grad and a terrific player in high school, McDonald's All-American nominee, All-Stater. Coach, he's been a valuable asset. We see him in practice on the scout team and a few minutes on game day. He's been multi-positional and certainly a benefit.
Well, he's a veteran guy. He was a terrific high school player, great career at Belmont. wanted to come home, and just a phenomenal locker room presence, presence in practice, great, physicality. So, when we put him in, he's ready to go, always ready. Smart, tough, character through and through.
When you point at him, it doesn't take him long to get to the scorer's table.
No, he's ready to go. No, he wants to get in there. And, this is one of the deeper teams we've had. We were talking earlier, like if he was on the team last year, he would have played a lot more. We didn't have hardly any depth in the front line. We played Connor, Chris, and Phil 3,000 minutes. We've talked about that. He would have played a lot more last year. This year, we've obviously got Owen and Lodgy. We've got, the opportunity to play Peyton and Patrick up there. Sometimes we downshift and go small. But he's ready to go when we need him.
You mentioned Owen Freeman. I feel so bad for him with these early fouls. Is he keeping his head up? Is he keeping his attitude? Oh, he's got to be frustrated.
Well, it's great. Like, he's effective when he's in there. We would like to play him more.
Yeah, big time.
He made a couple big plays on Saturday. A little bit frustrating, a couple of the calls that he's getting. But he's a little handsy. We talked about that. And sometimes he comes into your space. Mm-hmm. He's got to figure out, in high school, he could just go block shots anytime he wants. And he's still a darn good shot blocker.
Yes.
But
quick off his feet.
The guys at this level are a little craftier at drawing fouls. Mm-hmm. So sometimes if he would just stay vertical, we'd be better off.
9 points, 6 rebounds in 20 minutes.
Think about those numbers.
Translates to.
And big plays at crunch time. He's amazing that way. He doesn't rattle very much.
Extreme talent.
Other than fouling, it's about the only negative you can say about
sure.
Coach, how about
the James Worthy spin move?
Yeah, the Worthy spin
move.
Yeah, that's a quick move. He had one of them, I think, against Northwestern.
He did.
The dunk. Yeah, but talk about a refereeing question, and it drives me nuts when I don't know what they call it, booty ball or bully ball, where they just bang each other. How do they get away with that?
Well,
what is the rule?
It's a real frustrating situation because we're going to see a lot of that on Sunday.
Yeah.
I think the reason you're frustrated is because there's absolutely zero consistency with how that play is officiated. Sometimes they tell you, okay, on the second bump, go down. So sometimes you go down and they call a foul. And sometimes you go down and they look at you and the guy lays the ball up. So what drives me crazy is don't penalize the defender for if that guy's coming into me and I forearm him and he goes the other way, do not call a foul on that. I lose my mind when they do that. Because he doesn't get to move, he doesn't get to violate verticality if I can't. All right? Because otherwise, so obviously the best thing to do is to be the stronger guy and say, where you going? You're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Lodgy's pretty good at that.
Man, they're dropping his shoulder and just nailing guys.
Yeah. Well, remember Shaq used to do that. And they had who was going to stop him?
Nobody.
He would go boom, boom, and just dunk it on your head.
320 pounds coming at you.
And with a 40-inch vertical.
I can't imagine defending it. Again, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
I'd come with a double team maybe and tell them to get rid of the ball.
Depending upon the talent level of the guy who's doing the back down, you got to double.
Yeah.
And obviously that's how Wisconsin plays and that's how Illinois is playing.
Coach Miranda on Facebook, hi Coach, with 8 days between games. She says crazy how the games all pile up. Yeah. Now there's 8 days between games. What does this week look like for the team? Do you scrimmage midweek? Do you simulate a game? Do you give them a couple days off?
We got home pretty late Saturday. Mm-hmm. It was a 4:30 game. We bus back. So we gave them off yesterday, and most of the guys, went to the women's game, and then we gave them off again today. But they're all in there shooting. They come in and get workouts, and that's what the practice gym is for. So they're all in there shooting, and tomorrow we'll practice. We'll practice again. We will, to specifically, relate to Miranda's question, we will go up and down. Like, we got to get them. We gave them a couple days off, which is great. This time of the season, a little bit of rest on your body is good, but we got to get them up and down in the middle of the week.
Miranda, thank you for the question. Good one. You're our Authentic Brand Hawk Talk Show winner for this week. If you submit an interesting question for Coach McCaffrey each week via Twitter or on Facebook, you could win a Hawkeye Gear Prize Pack from Authentic Brand. And Miranda is tonight's winner. Thanks to Authentic Brand for the Hawkeye Gear Prize Pack. Authentic Brand is a proud partner, not only outfitting our broadcast team, but outfitting thousands of Hawkeye fans on game day. Gear up for game day and every day in officially licensed Hawkeye apparel and accessories from Authentic Brand. Back to Facebook. Eugene, Coach, what has helped the team gain some momentum here in the last half dozen games? And is it a negative to have a week off in between games this late in the season?
You know, it typically doesn't happen this late in the season. You know, you're going to have a break like this. That's by design. I don't really think it matters that much one way or the other. You know, I think it's important that, you know, you break out of that every 2 games you're playing. You mentally, when you're trying to process a scouting report, and you're playing 2 days later, process another one 2 days later, and then you mix in travel. So getting a break is typically, you know, a good thing.
Welcome, yeah.
You know, most of the time it doesn't happen this late in the season, but you know, it's been a grind. You know, we've already played 19 games. A little break, I think, is good.
One more before we take a break here, and this one comes up every year. Coach Brent wants to know how important is the star ratings attached by the various services to up-and-coming high school recruits. I've always loved your answer. You're looking at players.
It's irrelevant. What some scouting
Could you
service
expand on that?
What some scouting service rates a guy. Now, some of those guys are really good at what they do.
They work at it.
They work at it. You know, so I'm not throwing shade on those guys, but they're not getting paid by the University of Iowa. I am, and so is my staff. So we will do the evaluation. You know, Keegan Murray was 347. That was his ranking. He was the 4th pick in the draft.
347.
Yeah, he's going to make about $347 million, I think.
That was the rating, yeah.
that must have been what they were predicting.
Like I said, I love your answer on the stuff. What was Chris?
348.
Well, they didn't turn out too bad, did they? What was Garza?
Garza was, you know, it was interesting with Garza because he started low and he just kept moving up. So he eventually was a top 100 player.
Okay, what was he originally?
He was down 150 or below.
Okay, all right.
You know, nobody really paid much attention to him, and then all of a sudden, see, he played for a very high-profile AAU team, team takeover. And sometimes it's hard to make a name for yourself when you're playing with 7 or 8 other Division I players, because you don't always get enough shots.
True.
But they won, and his numbers were always really good. And by the end of it, you know, no matter who you would take this, okay, that kid's a top 100 player. Probably a top 25 player, but clearly a top 100 player.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, irrelevant.
What are you looking for?
Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. He's pretty good now at the 49ers.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, he's going to get paid too.
Fran, what do you look at when you walk in the gym? I can see that kid can play. What one of the things that jumps out at you?
Well, there are a number of things, Bobby. You know, you're looking at athletic ability. You're looking at skill set. You're looking at level of competition. You know, I could bring you to see a guy and he plays great, but okay, who do you do it against? Or, you know, the hardest thing, what if you take a guy who's got a great reputation, you go see a guy who's got a great reputation and he plays against a lousy team and he plays lousy. Okay, well, you know, he's a 4-star guy. Well, not what I saw. I just watched him play against a lousy team and he was horrible. So, not a 4-star guy in my opinion. So, we will evaluate what we see, and we clearly won't do it on one sighting, you know, and we won't do it with just, I go see a guy, you know, Sherman's going to see him, I'll see him, Matt will see him, Courtney will see him, and then we'll cross-reference that with other players that we've watched. You know, like you look at the kid Chris Taggio that we signed, he did not get as much exposure. He's originally from Canada. He ends up in the NBA Academy. He's in Mexico City. He shows up in Memphis at an NCAA-sanctioned event, and we start watching him. We're like, wait a minute, like this guy is the real deal. So, you know, we go hard on him, we get him, and now, months later, he's the 7th-ranked power forward in the country. So,
You got a great eye for talent, Fran.
We don't always get it right. Occasionally, you say, you see a guy on the wrong day, and I'm reluctant to pull the trigger, and he goes somewhere else, and he ends up being good. We're not always right, but we have a lot of experience on this staff at evaluating talent, and we also know what we want, what fits. But the number one thing, and I say it all the time, the number one component in recruiting is character. So whenever we do sign a guy, even if he's not as good as we thought, he's going to be a great person. And those guys get better.
Yeah, great in the locker room.
So you bring a guy in, maybe he's not as good as you thought he would be as a freshman, maybe by a junior year, because he works and he listens and he loves his teammates and he understands the offense, he becomes a darn good player.
Anxious to see Todd and Cooper Koch, what you got there.
Well, that guy's real deal.
Can't wait to see.
I don't know how many stars he got, but it should be a bunch of them.
Read a great article on him the other day.
Shooter?
JR's son.
Player. He's a shooter.
He's a
player. And he's 6'9". I mean, he can put it on the deck. He moves without the ball. He rebounds. He's not a mistake guy. He doesn't make any mistakes. He's going to move the ball, share it. Perfect for our system.
Let's take our final break of the night here from our good sponsors, including U.S. Cellular is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular wants you to make the most of today by choosing game day traditions first and scrolling later. U.S. Cellular, built for us. And by Iowa Corn. The Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series, sponsored by our friends at Iowa Corn, promotes values that are uniquely Iowan. And on behalf of Iowa's corn farmers, we want to salute all athletes for their hard work and determination, both on and off the field. And just like our athletes, our state leads the nation in corn and ethanol production. And the farmers will be out in the field soon, planting that new crop for 2024. Follow Iowa Corn on Facebook and learn how corn grows Iowa. Back to the Hyatt Regency in just a minute, courtesy of Learfield.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn, and we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/corn grows Iowa.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bowes, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
Bananas are only 39 cents a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And 39 cents a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for bananas every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 57 years. Oak Knoll is located near University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oaknall.com to learn more. We're a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
Welcome back to our remaining moments with Hawk Talk and Coach McCaffrey, live from the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. You can experience the all-new Hyatt and its freshly renovated spaces. Stay in new modern guest rooms overlooking the Iowa River, or check out the state-of-the-art fitness center, pool, and family lounge, and their new cafe serving tasty Starbucks coffee. Come discover all these updates and more on your next trip to Iowa City, Coralville, and cheer on the Hawkeyes. Iowa, Illinois, Sunday night at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock for our pregame coverage here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Just a couple minutes remaining in this week's show. We will be back here next Monday night for our final Hawk Talk of the season with Coach McCaffrey. We'll preview the Big Ten basketball tournament up in Minneapolis. Fran, Kent says congratulations on the momentum you have going now to the finish line. Do you have any idea how many of your former players are now coaching at one level or another, and how many on your current roster have an interest in coaching? Well, this young man sitting right here, Evan Brauns, said he'd like to be a coach someday. Thank you, and go Hawks.
Well, I know one of them is coaching.
Connor. Well, yeah, with the Pacers, right?
Yeah. So Connor's coaching. We have a couple of our managers who are coaching at the high school level. Our guys are still playing. I mean, I think of all the guys.
That's great.
You know, like Clemens, Jock, Ryan Kriener. They just keep going. You know, Garza, obviously, Chris and Keegan. But our
Weezy.
Weeze Camp is still playing. We got a lot of guys that are still playing.
Oh, Courtney Eldridge played for you, right?
Well, and Matt, of course.
And Matt Gates.
But I thought he was talking about Iowa players.
Well, I'm sure that's a good point.
Matt was a guy that he got right into it.
He did.
You know, he played for a couple of years, and then he hurt his knee, and he said, "That's it. I'm coaching." You know, he probably could have come back and played a few more years if he wanted to, and you know, it was obviously terrific. But, you know, it's great to have two guys on my staff. I mean, Billy Taylor, I coached. He's the head coach at Elon.
Having a good year, aren't they?
Well, yes. I mean, considering he's building it. You know, I think doubled their wins, and I think they're one win away from the most wins they've had in like 20 years or something like that. So, doing a great job. He's terrific. He is terrific. He is a superstar in this business.
Coach, this has happened primarily the last month or so in football, but did you ever think you'd live long enough to see the day where head coaches in college either step down to become a coordinator and assistant coach at a blue blood college program, or go to the pros where they're not recruiting? And it has everything to do with the transfer portal and the crazy world that we're living in recruiting now. Now, I'm not saying it's right, but that's
not the only reason. I mean, if somebody leaves a head coaching position for an assistant coaching position, there's issues where he's at.
Good point.
You know, and you can make the money work. But, you know, there's also a previous relationship. Typically, if you're going to go be somebody's offensive coordinator, there's something there. Like, you know the guy, like you're tight with the guy. But I think the point you made, Dolph, about guys going to the pros, or quite frankly, retiring, it definitely has something to do with the changing world that we live in. I look at it like this. I've been in this 41 years. There's changes all the time. You have to adapt. That's what we do as coaches. You learn, you grow. I coach way differently than I did when I was a head coach at Lehigh at age 26. We recruit differently. Everything that you do is different. So guess what? We have NIL. We have the transfer portal. We'll figure it out.
Well, you look the same as you did at 26.
I do.
That's handsome.
I think I've improved, actually.
See you Sunday.
See you Sunday,
brother. Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you, Dolphy.
Thanks to Corey Sheets, our engineer-producer. Iowa, Illinois, Sunday night to wrap up the regular season. Looking forward to the event at Carver. We'll look forward to seeing you there, and certainly look forward to you tuning in the Hawkeye Radio Network. Thanks to the Hyatt. Good night, everybody.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network, from Learfield, live from the Hyatt Regency, this has been Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery, brought to you by Authentic Brand, the premium label of choice. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. By your local Ford dealers. Hy-Vee, score big savings with the new Hy-Vee Perks membership. Iowa corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa basketball. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by U.S. Cellular, built for the Hawkeyes. Built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular, built for us. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.